I'm going to let Horror Vixen take it away. I'm such a fan of Horror Vixen. Who follows her on Instagram? I follow her on Instagram. And I also watch her YouTube videos every Wednesday. Oh my god, she's like the coolest. So I'm so glad that she's our moderator.
Plugging, James.
Let's hear it for Horror Vixen, everybody. And in the back, who gave you your raffle tickets, Alexander Burke, the music supervisor for Haunters.
Yes!
He also scored a lot of the movie. He did the music for Donald's scenes, Shar's scenes, all the happy, upbeat monster stuff. That was Alexander Burke and Neil Baldock. So Alexander Burke, awesome. Come on up.
So yeah, all right. So if you guys haven't seen Haunters, it is a very entertaining and even heartwarming look into the world of haunts. And it goes from traditional haunts to basically controversial as hell. And of course, one of my favorite things is the score. It's Dead Man Bones. Is it Dead Man's Bones?
Dead Man's Bones.
And it is like so good. But coming from somebody who loves haunted houses and mazes and all those haunted attractions, I really appreciated the film because, again, it gives you that inside look, that back end, you know, because, again, we all go to them, we love it. So, yeah, it just kind of gives us that tiny glimpse of the behind the scenes and all. So maybe this is giving the feedback.
I think it's that mic here.
It hates me.
You know what we'll do? Let's scoot over, come up here and use one of these mics.
I'll just take a drag because I don't trust this stage.
Yeah. Boom. You got it.
I did not film this.
Test. Oh, this one works.
Hello. There we go. But yeah, so anyways, to wrap it up, again, I really appreciated the film and I absolutely adored it. It's 3 stories that basically unravel before your eyes, and it lets you into, again, the behind the scenes and the actors that let them come to life. So here we are today, and I've conjured up some questions, wrote them down because sometimes I have a memory of a soap dish, so I just really wanted to, get this all down correctly. So hi, guys.
Hey.
Are me and you sharing your mic? We are, huh?
I'll move if I need to. Can I project? Is that good enough?
No, use the mic. You use the mic.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to give it to you because I'm going to start with you. But I actually have a question for all of you guys first, and it is, what do you think makes a great haunted house? This is for all 3 of you.
Traditionally, I want to say passionistic enthusiasm. Obviously, that's what drives me. But I am always far more entertaining with attention to detail.
I think it's
Okay. Just picture something here.
Okay.
And scares per square foot. Like the last year of Nightmare on Loganberry, it was 2,000 square feet, and we had a scare about 1 every 3.4 square feet. So every time you went through it was a whole different experience because you weren't hit the first time with something else, so you paid attention to that. And I'd like that. I like the attention to detail when you go through a haunt to see what you created, but also have enough entertaining so they don't get to see everything that you built. That answers your question.
Thank you, Donald. I have a different answer. My answer is 2-part. There is a difference between a haunter who works at a haunt and a guest going through. For a guest to go through, the most important thing to have a good haunt is they have to feel something. After they come out, if they're not talking about the haunt they just went through, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see that? That's a successful haunt. If they come out and go, okay, let's go for pizza, we have time, that's not a successful haunt. It's a feeling and an emotion that has to come out of them that they have some sort of connection with what's going on. Now, on the other side of the question, for us haunters, and I know we have a lot of haunters here, okay? Yay, haunters! For us, I think the most important thing for us is that we feel safe and that we feel appreciated. You guys agree with me? Say yay. Yay, amen. Yay, amen. Thanks. All right, John?
Well, one second. Alex, by the way, he didn't realize he was going to be able to make it till late last night. He's like, I think I can come. So what makes a great haunted house for you?
One that makes you feel like you're a kid again, one that makes you forget all your troubles, everything going on in the world, and you have no worries at all, and you're just an 8-year-old screaming and crying and running and having the greatest time ever with your friends.
I love that answer because Shar said something in the movie that I thought was so perfect about horror attractions. She said you laugh, you cry, you feel like a kid again. But there was another part of the movie that was really interesting was when that little boy, He was actually talking to my nephew. He was trying to convince my nephew to go through Donald's haunted house. My nephew was like, I'm not going in, there's a maniac in that haunted house. And he was really convinced there is a maniac in that haunt. And, it was Donald's family, so I was like, maybe he's not so off base. But when that little boy said, if you go through that haunted house, you feel like a man. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. This is the dual rites of passage of a haunted house. It's for adults to feel like kids and for kids to feel brave. And when we can do that, when we can go through a haunted attraction, and I get the chills thinking about it, I love haunts so much. When we go through a haunted house and you can laugh and you can scream and have such an amazing time and be transported, that's the greatest thing ever, isn't it? Isn't that why we all love Halloween so much? It's my favorite part. I can blab on forever. I can make an entire documentary about it.
And that's why I'm going to cut you off, because I'm going to start with all the questions that I have so I can squeeze it all in. But I did want to start with you, Donald. You built what I thought was a really amazing traditional maze, and I actually wish that I could go through it. In the film, we see some of your awesome home haunt, Nightmare on Loganberry. What do you love about creating a traditional boo scare maze?
One, I'm going to go on record saying I hate that it's called traditional or boo scare. It really bothers me because it doesn't sound very...
What do you like?
How about just a maze or a haunt? I don't like to differentiate. I understand that there's a need for that apparently nowadays. But, what was the question?
What's your favorite color?
That's obvious.
What do you love about creating?
I love creating.
You're more so.
That's the best part, is that usually it starts off in roughly January with a lot of drunken nights with my crew. And we progressively be like, oh, would it be hilarious if somebody's heart flew out of her chest and exploded?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, let's figure out how we can build that. And then we end up pulling it off. That's what I love. I love the creativity of seeing old-fashioned things and building on them and making them better and making them unique and different to where people think they haven't seen it before, even though they've seen it dozens of times. But it's the physicality of being awake a week with 3 hours of sleep to make sure that paint is dry, even though sometimes it rains on Halloween, even though you never count on it. The foam doesn't dry or something, and you have to figure it out. I guess the best part of the creative process is problem solving, so that you overcame it and you made something that everybody appreciates.
Yes.
That is all.
The end. Would you ever make an interactive or extreme haunt? If so, or if not, why?
No, because I don't think it's... I don't hate that. I don't like the way McCamey does it, because with an extreme haunt, it should be about the individual trial going through. With that becomes a choice. When my brother, who was a Navy SEAL, he had a choice to do that. He went through incredible amounts of pain and turmoil, and he could have quit anytime he wanted to, and there would have been no judgment. You need that choice. I don't like it. One, I'm terrified of getting sued. And people of my stature and physicality, especially where I came from, have a tendency of messing things up even when we don't mean to. So, no, I still like Blackout is amazing. There's some really good ones out there that tell a story that make people uncomfortable. That's fine, so long as they can quit. Do I think that anybody should ever get hit, punched, degraded, shamed? No, I don't think that's necessary for a haunt. It's pretty easy to scare the hell out of people. After, you just have to set it up. So you get them in the mood that they're going to be scared, you hype them up, and you pull them in. It's not difficult. So I don't see why you need to beat, torture, or scream, drown, anything to get that reaction.
Yeah.
That's a cheat.
That totally makes sense.
I'm going to scare you by punching you in the face. That's not scary. It's
Definitely.
annoying and stupid. But.
And speaking of McCamey, I saw in your Scare LA panel where you and Russ McCamey got into a fight. What was that all about?
I wouldn't say it's a fight. Russ doesn't like being challenged, and that's why he likes his haunt. They're powerless. It's his decision. The haunt is more about him determining what he wants them to go through versus them about the person taking what he's giving. That's why they don't have a choice. Now I understand he has a safe word and he's out of the state, so I doubt they're going to pass any federal regulation for haunts, which is good. But I don't feel it was that hostile. Apparently, everybody else told me it was. I thought we were just having a conversation. We kind of got a little hot-headed and overreacted, which usually means you hit the nail right on the point.
You did call him a sociopath. I was saying, my fault for putting you guys sitting next to each other. I can't believe I did that, and I went and stood in between you guys for a second.
Like what?
And Donald easily, with his hand, just moved me away.
I was thinking that Russ was going to hit John. So,
I'm like the bodyguard.
Yeah, well, John's not very physical. So he's not a fighter. But and it's control. But Russ is he is what he is. He's out there. I don't think it should be called a haunt in any way, shape, or form. It's an experience. It's extreme, but there's nothing scary about it. There's torture. There's degradation. There's pain. But if that's your idea of a haunt, maybe you shouldn't be haunting.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll switch gears here. In the film, your wife said that when you had a kid, you would have to stop haunting. So this is actually a two-part question. Did you have a kid? And number two, did you stop haunting?
I had a 2-year-old son. I have a 2-year-old son now. And it stopped me haunting.
Ooh.
For 2 years.
Oh, okay. So, are you guys still married?
Yes, we're still happily married, surprisingly. I love my wife. She's great. I completely understand why she hates this so much, because it legitimately takes so much time away from her. And we're a very involved couple. We love spending time with each other. We like being around each other. So I can see on how that, I think this year we've been together for 17 years.
Wow. What did she think of the film?
She loved that she wasn't the main villain. She was convinced that she was going to be made the devil. So
Bristol battle.
I guess I'll just announce it now.
Yeah, what's next for you?
I'm bringing Nightmare on Loganberry back.
Woo!
We were going to completely redo everything, and everything's kind of geared to go, and everybody's super hyped because obviously the lull really makes you crave it more. So, yeah, it's going to be nuts. Way beyond anything we've already done. And you won't get punched, drowned.
Things to look forward to.
Yeah, so look for, if you haven't already, I'm not very media savvy, I leave that to other people. But we do have a Nightmare on Loganberry page. So if you like that, you'll get all the updates, details. It will be Halloween night, that I can promise you, and it still will be free. So.
Yay! I love that.
Is it still only going to be for 4 hours?
Yeah. We're debating if we get enough feedback where we do like an industry night for charity or something where we can collect money and do that. If we get enough people who are say like I'm in the haunter industry, let's do this. Maybe I'll keep it open for one more day. But
Kelly, we got a card.
we'll see. It's on you guys. That's how I see it. That's on you.
Things to look forward
I
to,
gotta do what's for
everybody.
me, but you guys can do what's for you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. That's great. Donald. Again, now you know what to do as well. All right, moving on to Shar, a legendary scare actor. It wasn't until I actually saw the film that I realized how many things that you had did. Like, we're like friends and stuff, and I had no idea that
It's
you
still like that. A
it's
lot
like-
of people I know for years.
It like blew my mind. So okay, so what is it like to see yourself and your life in the documentary?
It's really weird.
And is
It's
there
really weird.
a particular moment that you're glad was preserved in the film?
Yeah, seeing my husband talking about it, that was really cool for me.
Wow.
It's like, if you see the movie, you know where you're going. You know he's not into this. He's not here today. He's home and he has dinner ready for us when we're done. So like, he supports me, he supports us. But yeah, he's not into this kind of thing. So seeing him talk about it, I'm so glad that John got to interview her. And also just being in it and meeting people from different haunts, and not only meeting them, but getting emails and messages from people all across the country who are haunters who contacted me. They're like, somebody in Mississippi, I didn't know there was people like this where you are. I love what you do. And then we start talking about their haunt. And then 15 minutes later, I get another message from somebody in Buffalo, New York, telling me about their haunt. So being able to connect with other haunters all across the country, that's a really cool. That I think is one of the really cool parts. And again, like John and Donald, and becoming friends with everyone.
I love that.
It's really cool. I mean,
So much love.
yeah, it's everybody that does haunt loves other people that do haunt. So it's like it's a family. It's no matter what haunt you're at, whether you're at the 17th door, not scary farm, or I don't know what, but it doesn't matter where you are or what haunt you're in. When you're haunting, we're all brothers and sisters. And, I think that's really important. And I know Jon pointed that out to everybody that sees the film. And he also introduced a lot of new people to haunting that have never been haunted before. And they see what we do. And they know what we go through. And I did talk really candidly about some of the horrors that I go through. But opening up to new people is awesome.
Well, good. That kind of rolls into the next question: is what are some of your most memorable scare reactions you've had as a scare actor?
When they get scared and fall to the ground is always my favorite.
That's your favorite.
I worked with my partner right here, Hollywood, and Not Scary Farm. I worked there 15 years. 10 years was with my partner in Ghost Town, and he would do our setups. So people would be looking at him and stuff, and then I could come on the side and hit them. And they would be so involved with whatever he's talking about or doing, and then boom, I can hit them. Boom, most of the time they go right down. And then he takes the double team and comes back and hits them.
I love that.
I love
like
doing
a
double
team.
team.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
Because once they get the one, they think that they're done.
They think they're done. But you also, timing is another thing, and like all your older hunters know, sometimes you can't go for that second bite. Sometimes you get the first one, and you got to be happy and satisfied with that first one, and move away and go, yeah, okay, that was good. And that's just totally, something I sound very support on all the time.
You've worked every style of haunt from traditional to extreme. What was your favorite haunt to work as a scare actor and why?
That's a hard question. I worked at Knott's for 15 years, traditional. Not Scary Farm before I worked at smaller haunts, mazes. I worked at the Hayride. I did that for 10 years. I worked at theatrical haunts like Delusion, and I've done shows like Play Dead that is haunting inside it, Blackout, Extreme Haunts. Most recently, I know, this keep working. Sinister.
Cool.
I've been working the last 3 years. It's really satisfying, and that's at the 17th floor. I really like working with the
Awesome.
The cool thing about the 17th floor is it's a theatrical and an extreme at the same time. So we get to hit people on both ends, but unlike some people's extreme haunts, we have a safe word. And you can skip the room, or you can leave altogether. And we all know that when you're working haunts, people come in with this idea, I am so cool, I can do this all on. And sometimes by the second room, they're on the floor crying. Big guys, little guys, it doesn't matter. Everybody's the same. It's how you react to it. And sometimes they gotta go, they can go. But 17th floor is cool because they can't do that room. They can skip the room, go to the next room. I really like doing that.
Yeah, I love that.
And I work Delusion also, and I love Delusion. Jon has some scenes about Delusion if you've never seen it. It's in the special features, and they're opening this year. Did you know that?
I did know that. I also don't know that. But yeah, the no more injuries, Shar. Delusion's in the movie when we talk about the future of haunting, but they're also in the bonus features too. The idea with the bonus features was that I wanted to be able to give you all a real deep dive into haunting out in the bonus features. Anyways, keep talking. She brought up bonus features. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, let me tell you. Oh no. What have people's reaction to you been since the film started?
A lot of hugs. When we went to Austin, I went with Jon to Austin for the premiere, and that was like so amazing. He wouldn't show me the film. Until we saw it on the big screen, and then that was pretty emotional. And being in a room filled with all these people that were not haunters, these are horror film people, and they were just screaming and laughing and cheering. And then afterwards, of course, everybody wants to talk to Jon, but I had a line of people that just wanted to hug me, and that was something really cool for me. And even now, walking through the spook show, meeting people that saw the movie, they come up and they hug me. That's really cool. That and connecting with people online that are other haunters and people that run other haunts. People have been contacting me too about ideas that they have for haunting, and I've been able to touch base with people all over the country, and to me that's really cool. I'm a bi-coastal haunter. I haunted in the East Coast, and now I haunt in the West Coast. But now I have friends all over the country who are like us, who are haunters, and I'm really excited about that, and I got to be thankful for Jon for putting this movie out and letting me get in touch with all these people. Because I don't know, I would never have been able to get in touch with them except because of this movie.
Aww.
I have to say something about Shar. They weren't just in line to hug her, they were emotional. Some people were in tears, hugging her, saying how much they love her. And there have been a lot of people since then who have been talking about how they went to their first haunt ever, and a lot of people who want to try their hand at scare acting because of Shar.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so happy that she's in my movie.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of new people joining us all over the country, want to be scare actors, or like they'll send me pictures, they want to, I do a little makeup, so they want to ask me, what do you think about this, and I'll give them some tips or something. So yeah, that kind of thing, being just open to more people, I love. Oh my God, I can talk about haunting, as I'm sure all you guys can. I can talk about it for days and days and days, and thank goodness the movie's only 90 minutes long. I would have been chatting forever. I think he's got hours and hours of me just chatting about different haunts.
Okay, well, let everybody know what's up next for you.
Oh, so I've been doing, so for haunt-wise, I'm, again, working at Scare LA. I'm a producer at Scare LA. We have a booth out there. We're selling tickets. That's a horror, haunt, and Halloween convention at the end of August. We got $15 tickets today for you guys.
Yes.
That's the convention I work at yearly. And then I'm also, haunt-wise, I haven't signed yet with a haunt, so I don't know which haunt I'm going to be working on. But I have been doing films. So I have 2 films that I'm signed. One is called Hollywood Baby Doll. You can talk about that. That's, it's like a horror kind of drama movie. I get to die in it. So
That's amazing.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Oh my God!
I die early, so you'll see me and you'll be like, oh, she's gonna die. I'm like, yay!
That's fun.
I have another film I'm doing. I think I signed it in the VA, so I did something else, and I got something else. I got stuff. If people are interested, they can always contact me. I'm really nice and easy to talk to, and I'm on Facebook.
Yay!
And she has a website.
I have my own website.
Fancy.
You can talk to me anytime you want. I'm totally cool about talking about haunts or haunting or anything. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shar, everybody. And up to Jon. Hi.
Hey.
Your film was a masterpiece, I thought. Again, not that I went into it watching with low expectations, but I watched it, I was like, this is really good. So I loved it. Just
Thank you so much.
Okay, since you asked so many questions in your film, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Donald or Shar?
Yes. I could ask. I'm so obsessed with the Halloween subculture, but I just want to ask like a really super easy one that I want to know. What is your favorite Halloween moment from growing up? What's your favorite Halloween moment that you experienced, Donald?
Let's see. We talked about it in the film, didn't we? Yeah, that was it. What you didn't, you guys might not have known is that we were in the 5th, 6th combination class together, and the 6th graders get to scare the little haunted house that they have for their little winter carnival, or fall carnival. And both Jon and I were so excited that we finally get to actually try and scare people without being just told that we're little kids, that we were planning for weeks, getting all attention to detail down, everything, the moves that we were going to do. It was very, very adorable, I'm sure. But when they get there, I legitimately had a rifle and everything, and I was really, if you ever saw House, I was like Big Ben in House, and I was wearing my father's Vietnam fatigues, and I had the weapons and everything, and they're like, you need to take all that stuff off, you look too scary. It was pretty cool. But on top of that, you might not realize that Jon's actually in the film with me. As you see me dressed up as the army guy, he's the nice little kid next to me with the Freddy Krueger glove. And once again, it was the first time that we discovered diversion and tactics. So Jon would come out and they'd all get scared, and then I'd come out of a wall and pop out at them. And these are high schoolers. And they physically went through the wall, knocked it over, ran out screaming. That was it for me. I knew at that point, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, in any way, shape, or form. So it's in the film, but I would just, as an adult, I would have loved to have seen us done that. How funny would that have been?
Oh my God! It was that was one of my favorite moments ever. Is when I met Donald in the 6th grade. When I met Donald, and I was reading Fangoria magazine, and he was like, I like Fangoria. That's back when you used to wear Garfield sweaters.
Yes,
And
that's true. That is very true.
well, we haunted together, and being a monster with Donald in that haunt was like the coolest thing ever. And that's like the funny thing about the picture in the movie. You see me as a kid wearing a skeleton shirt, a Freddy glove, and scratch marks on my face. I had like the worst costume ever. I had a real low budget.
Months of planning, though.
Months of planning. A lot of thought went into that. But Shar, what's your favorite Halloween moment?
I talked about it when I was a kid, when I was in like second grade, and my mom got me a skeleton costume.
That's right.
I ran around scaring people. That was really cool. But I talked about that. I also, when I'm older, moving into Knott's, getting Ghost Knott's Streets was like a huge deal for me. I worked in a maze for 2 years at Knott's. Again, I love doing it. But getting into Ghost Knott's Streets was something really special for me, and I worked there 10 years. I absolutely loved doing that. So those are like my youngest memories are like really strong. And getting candy, who doesn't like getting candy?
Alex, what's your favorite Halloween memory?
Through high school, I worked actually at a haunted house, and my first day, I was before high school, I was in 7th grade, I think. They gave me an axe, and they had me jump out behind. They told me to get as close to the person's nose as possible without hitting their nose. And so the first person comes by, I jump out and swing the axe as hard as I can, and the top flies off. And it goes and just flies right by like 3 people and hits. And one person looked at me and just turned and ran and jumped over the fence and ran away. And I think that's, as like a kid, like my favorite Halloween moment I fell in love with. Like, this is amazing. Give me another axe. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
That is so good. All right. Well, that's all amazing. I mean, who doesn't love, like, your first memory, your fondest, I guess.
What's yours?
My mom used to take me to this outdoor, it was like a haunted maze. I used to live in San Diego. It was like in Balboa Park, and I was petrified, and she would take me, and I hated it, but I loved it. And there was always like the school bus we had to go through, and I was like crying, and like, but I wanted to go through it. Anyways, yeah. The pit. I think it is too.
It is.
Yeah, I think it, right?
You should go back.
I know, it's been like a decade, right? It's like the same bus. I'm just like, anyways, okay. So you directed and produced Haunters. What else does your company, The Brain Factory, do?
Well, The Brain Factory, actually, if you go to thebrainfactory.com, you can see some of the things we've done. While I was finishing the movie, I also was creating a virtual reality project called Flatline Experience, where you go through somebody's actual near-death experience. And it is a real trip. You hear them talking about this spiraling vortex, and all of a sudden the spiraling vortex enters this hospital room. You get drawn down into it, and it gets crazy after that. And then we have 3 commentary tracks, someone who had a near-death experience, and definitely people with major science backgrounds, and you even get to hear one who's a total skeptic. It's like, there's no way this happened, which I love. I always love, sparking a debate.
And she's like the calmest sounding like British woman who sounds like she could be like your grandmother. It's the best commentary.
But she was just like, I don't believe this.
While you're watching it.
While you're watching the craziest thing ever. But there's also, I'm such a huge fan of everything scary, and I've been lucky to do some amazing projects. Probably the most special project was when Tim Burton hired me to produce 3D ghost illusions for President Obama's first Halloween party at the White House. And that was one of the craziest things ever. And yeah, it was. It was like, we have some of the coolest pictures from that party on our website now too. You can see Tim and everybody. And it was, like working with Tim Burton was one of the coolest things ever, because that was amazing. I mean, I grew up watching Beetlejuice. He was a big adventure.
I'm sure everyone can vouch for
Yeah, my prized possession is I have a talking Pee Wee Herman doll with the voice chipper Freddy Krueger. Okay, anyways, but yeah, so we do a lot of immersive, interactive. I was even lucky enough to work with Donald and Shar on some haunts for YouTube. We created a really scary maze. One of them, that's right, Shar's daughter was in it too. And it was a 3D clown house, and it was absolutely terrifying. It was so much fun.
That is really cool. When you showed the first 30 minutes at Scare LA years ago, it was different? What did it change, or what did change?
You know, it took me so long to make this movie. One reason is because if you look at the Kickstarter page, I was asking for $30,000. We got $37,383 and 43 cents, but they rounded. Which was awesome. And there's even some backers that are here right now, and thank you so much. But I put in money too. That's not a lot of money for a movie. And I spent a lot of time, especially because Donald's Haunt goes on for 4 hours, and trying to get someone's scare reactions and going over and over and over again, you need a lot of time to get as many cool angles as possible. So when I did the first cut of the movie, I actually did an entire cut of the movie of like an hour and 48 minutes. And he knows because he was doing music to it. And it was completely insane. If you're a haunt fan, it's just perfect. You know, but if you're not into Halloween or haunts, it was like, so what? And I actually tested out on a lot of people that weren't into Halloween or haunts, and they didn't quite get it. They even said, well, I guess everyone's just kind of crazy in this industry. And I was like, no, that's not true. That is not true. And so I just kept working on it. I reached out to mentors like Rodney Asher, the director of Room 237 and The Nightmare. I reached out to the directors of Indie Game, the movie, about independent video game developers, making video games. It's all about the creative process. And I took all their advice too, and what I realized was, wow, when we were showing more of McKamey Manor and more of Russ, it was almost like the darkness emphasized the light. Because then people started looking at it and going, oh, Donald and Shar, I just love them. They're so sweet. I love what they're doing. And what's also was interesting was a lot of people, again, who just aren't into haunts, started to go, wait a minute, I want to go try an interactive one, or I want to try this one. It's interesting because when you start a debate, when you almost pick a fight with the audience, what happens? You pick a side. And sometimes people are going, well, I wouldn't do any of these haunts, but I want to try Delusion. Or I wouldn't do any of these haunts, but I really want to go to a home haunt. Or every once in a while, someone will go, yeah, I want to do McKamey. I'm like, really? Did you see the movie? But it's, it went on a wild journey, but I'm so proud of it because so many people have been telling me that they can watch it with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their spouse that's not into haunting. They can watch it with them, they can enjoy it, and it's been actually getting people that have never gone to haunts before to go together. So that's like a dream come true for me.
Why did you call it Haunters, the Art of Scare?
I called it the Art of the Scare because, okay, number one, I watch every single haunt documentary, haunt TV show, I'm like everyone else in this room. If there's something on about Halloween, I don't care how cheesy it is, I'm watching it, I'm probably taping it, I'm watching it again. So that being said, because, the haunt community, the Halloween community, the horror community, we're a very loyal community. But that being said, we're also taken advantage of as an audience. And they'll put out some cheesy stuff because they know we're desperate, we'll watch it. Anything spooky. And I wanted to emphasize that these are not lovable losers, these are artists. And the idea about making a haunt, you have to be the P.T. Barnum of terror. You have to be a director, a producer, an actor, a writer, a creative. You have to create something with the illusion of danger without danger. You have to know about special effects and safety and promotion. There's so much that goes into it. So, but the word art to anyone who's ever created before, it means sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice to make your dreams come true? And for haunters, what are you willing to sacrifice to make other people's nightmares come to life? And I wanted to show that in the movie. I wanted to show the time away from their spouses they sacrificed. I wanted to show Shar the fact that she got beat up so many times in these haunts. And it was so horrific hearing those stories about my favorite monster getting beat up in haunts. And people would say things to me like, well, why would she do it if she got hurt? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't narrate this movie, but if I did, I would have compared her to maybe Muhammad Ali, talking about someone who, you know what? They got hurt, but they kept going because they love it so much. When she talks about that connection between the monster and the human, and we all know that's real. It's a real, powerful, emotional connection. When Donald and I were kids, we were severely bullied growing up. And when we got to scare people, that were much bigger and tougher than us, and they were afraid of us. It was so much fun, and it was such a great escape and release for them and for us.
Yeah, I noticed that in the film that you did not narrate, and so we really don't know what you think about extreme haunts or the McKamey Manor for that matter. So I'm actually curious what your thoughts are on extreme haunts, and what do you think about the McKamey Manor?
John, how long were you there?
Oh my God, I was at all the haunts for.
No, that's right.
Oh, hold on. Let me answer this question first. I'll tell you all about it. Oh my God. Look, when I first heard about an extreme haunt ever, it was Blackout. And someone told me, hey, there's this haunt that's going on. You get waterboarded by naked people. I'm like, why would anyone want to do that? I would never do that. When I first saw a video of McKamey Manor, I was terrified. And I was like, this looks like a Rob Zombie movie being projected on a screen on the Titanic while it's going down. This looks like the craziest thing of all time. And all I kept seeing was like thousands of people signing up to go. And I was like, who would make this? Who would want to go to it? You know, my favorite thing about a haunt is your favorite thing about a haunt. You know, again, the illusion of danger, but you're safe. Think of it this way. It's actually a scientific study that's been done. I filmed a scientific study that we didn't put in the movie because the conclusions weren't finished yet. The conclusions come out in 4 months. And this was a study put on by the University of Pittsburgh. It was put on in an extreme haunt in Pittsburgh called the Scare House Basement. They scanned people's brains before and after going through an extreme haunt. You had to go with a couple and you had to hold hands and not hold hands, and were monitoring what was going on with people's brains. One thing that they discovered was you can't get scared if you don't feel safe. You absolutely don't get scared if you don't feel safe. What you do is you feel traumatized. How many times have you not felt safe somewhere and you just ball up your fists and you feel tense? When it's over, do you feel great or you just feel exhausted? When a haunt is finished, that's really empowering. When it's finished, your heart is racing, you're laughing and you're screaming, and then you're screaming and laughing about the fact that you were screaming and laughing. You go through the entire roller coaster of emotions. And that's what I was hoping of doing with the movie. I wanted you to laugh, I wanted you to get emotional, and I wanted you to be shocked and disturbed. Because the best haunts do the same thing. Why do you think they put a toilet in haunts? Like one of my favorites, Reign of Terror. Every time I go in the bathroom and the toilet smells like poo and then the water sprays out, and I'm always like, no, it's so gross. Why did they do that? Because they wanted me to do that. You know? So extreme haunts, for me, the most extreme that I'm willing to go is 17th Door. And I absolutely love 17th Door for what Shar was saying, that they have a safe word. But I also love it because it's a great mix. It's a great mix of every style of haunting that I love. You know, so, but that being said, there was a guy that I filmed in the movie. I didn't put him in the movie because I thought he was going to suck all the air out of McKamey Manor. This one guy went to McKamey Manor, nothing bothered him. Nothing. They said, what if we shave your head? Like half your head. He's like, that'll be strange at work tomorrow. And then they did. They shaved his head, and then they put a tarantula on his face. He goes, oh, look, a brown recluse. I love those guys. They go, oh, yeah, well, how about a scorpion? They put a scorpion on him. Oh, these guys, I got 10 at home. And they said, then they drowned him. They go, how was that? He goes, it was just horrible, sir, horrible. And he's smiling. I was like, what is this guy? No, this was not Bill Murray from Little Shop of Horrors, but yes, you're right. It's like that. They said, what does scare you? He's like, my wife. They get on the phone to his wife. He's blindfolded, he's crawling around, and then out of nowhere, she shows up with the hose, and she says, bark like a dog. But, oh no, she sprays the water up his nose, she's screaming, she's kicking him. When it was over, Russ was like, would the two of you work at my haunt? They said yes. I said, how did you two meet? She said, in an online poetry group. He was the only one that took the poetry seriously. Okay. So, it takes all kinds. I've stopped using the word weird a long time ago.
That's amazing.
But yeah, but Russ McKamey, yeah, needs a safe word.
Yeah.
And if any of you, like what Donald was saying, Russ now has a safe word, not by his choice, but because law enforcement in the state of Tennessee, where he's currently at, they don't take kindly to that in those parts. And they basically told him, if you don't have a safe word, you're getting arrested.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing that, he got away with it for a long time in California. He gets to Tennessee, and they're like, nope, not
That's
here.
bananas. Oh my god. What are some of your favorite haunted houses?
Okay, it's such a hard question, like your favorite haunts, because it's like, what's your favorite horror film? My favorite haunts, I love Delusion. I love 17th Door. I love Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights and Not Scary Farm. Well, Not Scary Farm had one of my favorite mazes of all time just last year. The Dark Ride. The Dark Ride. Oh my god, it made you feel like you're going through a theme park ride that's broken down. That was so great. And we just went to John Cook's escape room. So John Cook, who designed some of my favorite haunts at Not Scary Farm, including the Dark Ride, Shadowlands, the only samurai haunt I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god, that was brilliant. But he has this thing called Murder Code right now. It's an escape room. This is a rated R escape room. It was scary. We did it together. It was scary. It was suspenseful. But it has a beautiful combination, a beautiful blend of interactive theater, haunt, and escape room. Absolutely love that. But there's so many more. We went to the Rise Haunted House in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and the Rise Haunted House did something that was so beautiful. When it started, they had a pet rat, and they made you hold it and pet it.
Oh, come
I
here.
love that.
Well, I love it for.
I would like, thank you.
Oh my god, I love it for that reason, but I also love it because all of a sudden you have to show empathy.
Yeah.
You have to show kindness to something that could be scary to you, and you have to pet it and take care of it. And that is in the back of your mind when you go through their haunt. So when the scare actors come out,
Wait, you carried the rat?
No, you do not.
I was like,
It's just, oh my god, I did a terrible job of explaining it. They make you hold a rat the whole time. No, they don't. You hold the rat, you take pictures, you pet the rat, you take care of the rat, but then you go inside the hunt without the rat. And when you go through,
I wouldn't be mad if you went through with him.
Oh no, you'd be.
I feel like I lost him along the way, but he's like, in your shirt.
That would be awful. But that's the thing that's so great is that it's in the back of your mind that you were just taking care of something.
Totally.
And so while these people are scaring you, you also feel like you're in good hands. Because every great hunt is a hunt where you feel like you're in good hands. Just like every horror film, like Nightmare on Elm Street, when you see a Wes Craven movie or a John Carpenter film, you feel like you're in the hands of masters. And they're going to show you something crazy, but they're not going to damage you. That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah. Amazing. So congratulations on getting Haunters on Netflix. What's up next for you?
Number one, the fact that Haunters is on Netflix has blown my mind.
So bitchin'.
It's so crazy. I can't believe it. And I also wanted to say one more thing about Extreme Haunts real quick. It's one of those things where I know a lot of people don't even think Extreme Haunts are part of haunting. But what's so interesting to me is this. Like, if someone says to me, I love horror films, I go, oh, really? Do you like Hostel? Do you like Saw? I'm like, well, no, those aren't horror films. Like, wait, they are. Maybe they're not the ones you like, but they're horror films. Like, with horror, something has happened with horror that's now happened with haunting. With horror, there's 1,000 subgenres. Everything from supernatural and horror comedy to torture porn and everything in between. There's something for everyone. That's the same thing that's happened with haunts. Think about the word haunted house. How many haunted houses have you been to recently that was actually a theme of a haunted house with ghosts? They're very few. It's now more about a mix of traditional, interactive, extreme, booze scare, immersive theater, escape rooms, zombie paintball. There's such a beautiful mix of every style, and it goes from the most traditional to the most extreme. And I do love that the whole spectrum is out there. I just want to make sure that even the most extreme ones out there, make sure that they follow rules like safety, the same thing that any theme park would follow, the same thing that anyone would follow while making a scary experience. You want to make sure it's safe, and you want to make sure people can have a great time. 99% of all haunts are, and they're incredible. And I love them so much, and I love everyone that's here because you want to celebrate Halloween in April. I love that. Thank you so much. What's next for us? I've been in a lot of meetings since the movie came out, and we're getting very close now, but it's looking like Haunters is becoming a TV series. Yes, and I'll tell you, here's the thing. I didn't want to make another movie because the movie's a double-edged sword. It's awesome to make a real cool movie, But then the problem is, you got to follow that plot if you want to make a kick-ass movie. If you want to make a great movie, you have to have forward progression, and everything has to be building towards that third act, right? In a TV show, I can do hour-long episode deep dives into different attractions and different haunts, different styles. I'm so excited because I want a TV show that's not going to be a bunch of animated bats flapping their wings. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I want a series that shows everyone for the artists that they really are, and for an industry that, by the way, has, as of last year, the Halloween industry made $9.1 billion last year. So this is a mega industry, and I want the world to take it seriously. And I want the show to really get everyone, even people who aren't into haunts, who love haunts, to pay attention and get activated to it. So I have a couple questions here for Alexander Burke. I'm just so glad he's here. So the music of the movie, right? How amazing was it? Music was awesome. I was lucky that I got every single musician that I went after, including someone who's not here, Jonathan Snipes. Jonathan Snipes did the score to Room 237 and The Nightmare. And his creepy music, he did the theme to McCamey Manor, but he also did a lot of other great songs throughout the movie. Alexander Burke did the music for The Monsters. For every time you hear the hand clappy sounds, he also helped make the album for Dead Man's Bones. So yes, it's the coolest thing ever. And the fact is, he's also worked with David Lynch, Fiona Apple. He was in Save Ferris. This guy's done every style of great music, but the one thing he specializes in is making kind of, for the movie, you were able to make kind of Halloween music that was not guilty pleasure. It was actually awesome music. How did you do that?
I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. The problem with most Halloween music is people talk down to. They're like, oh, it's Halloween, cool. It's going to be a low drone and a choir doing a minor chord, and then we'll put in the sound of some bats. Like, most Halloween music, I used to buy those Halloween records and the Halloween music, and there's some really good ones, but 99% of them are terrible, and you feel like you got ripped off. And you want to create a Halloween music and scary music that has heart to it. It's why, we were talking about the Tim Burton stuff earlier, the Beetlejuice stuff, and the Edward Scissorhands. It's like, it's scary, but you're smiling the whole time you're scared, which is what I love about haunted houses. And John and I actually met through Monique Powell, who's the lead singer of Save Ferris. They were childhood friends. And I played with Dead Man's Bones and helped with those records. And, it was Brian Gosling, so when in the band, so pretty much everyone and their mothers and my mother were always asking me for favors regarding that band. And, I had one favor, so it was always no, absolutely not. And then, he's the most passionate person you'll ever meet. So I remember parties like, I did the whole score at Dead Man's Bones. I want to use the film. I'll call them up and give you the songs. And then did it the next day without even seeing the movie. Because you're the most passionate person I know when it comes to this world and Halloween and art and everything. But yeah, it's all about heart and not talking down to things, which is what drives me crazy about horror films, is when the score talks down to it or when the actors talk down to it. And to me, horror films are the greatest because you get introduced to a cast of 20 characters and you have to fall in love with all of them instantly. And you have to understand who they are, because in the first 3 minutes, one of them could be killed, and that could be your favorite one. You want to be devastated. So to have a film that makes you feel like that, and music and acting, it's my favorite stuff ever. And it's why, the scores to Insidious are so much fun, and all the stuff that happens. So it feels like kind of a renaissance in horror music in the horror world right now, and I'm just so happy to be part of it.
Yeah, and this guy stuck with the movie for years. It took 4 years to make this movie, by the way, folks. And there's also a thing with this movie, I didn't want the end of the movie to be 60 seconds of showing some haunts. I hate when that happens. That's why you see haunting throughout. But tunnels, you see haunting throughout because I'm filming it year after year also. But this guy stuck with it with the music. Oh, go ahead.
One thing to add, with it taking 4 years, is also because he really would only have 3 to 5 days to film. Donald's Haunts open for 4 hours, so you'd film his, but then you'd miss really epic moments, and you're like, damn, I gotta wait another year. And then you'd wait a year to finish that story and get those scenes. So that was one reason, too, it took so long, was you have the patience of a saint.
Oh, let me tell you. There was the guy that works the door at his haunt. I saw some people looking so nervous they're about to go through. I said, hold them, because I need to film these other people for scare reactions, but hold those people. I come back out, I'm like, where are they? Like, well, they were waiting for like 5 minutes. I let them go through, and I was like, you. I went nuts! Because, number one, it's not easy to film a scare reaction and get the monsters and get everything in focus in the dark in night vision. It's so hard to do. And there were times where I was doing all that stuff and filming with the camera, holding lights, holding night vision, and holding a reflector too, and sometimes with the sound equipment on me. Anyways, it was so hard, it was so difficult to pull off, but I'm just so glad that Alexander Burke, Neil Baldock, Snipes, these people stuck with it, but he stuck with it and kept doing original scores to the movie. It was absolutely epic, and I can't thank you enough.
That's great. And such an extra bonus to have you here today. So, yeah.
And speaking of bonus, because I feel like I can plug, the bonus features on the DVD are amazing. Like, you guys have no idea the amount of amazing stuff that he left out. Like, there's one reason the TV show, like, there's enough for like 5 seasons of the TV show.
Oh, yeah. I filmed over 200 hours of footage, by the way. Yeah, let that sink in. And in the bonus features, we even got some new all-original music for certain parts of the bonus features. Yeah, I didn't want to just throw something in there and go, oh yeah, check it out. No, you get more of John Murray from Universal Studios, and you get to see pictures from the first haunt he ever did in 1977, a Star Wars haunted house. You get to have the LA Haunted Hayride behind the scenes. You get Not Scare School. You get it's Delusion, and you also get more of Haunted Overload. The Giant Skulls, you get their story. So yeah, it's 7 little mini documentaries that add up to 30 minutes. So yeah, I want to make sure that these special features were really special.
Extra.
Yep, and you can get it on the DVD, the Blu-ray, or the iTunes extra. Go to HauntersMovie.com. HauntersMovie.com.
Just a million shameless plugs.
I'll do it.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions for our special guest?
If you have a question, come on up and use the mic, because I know they're recording this. If you didn't get a raffle ticket, hold up your hand, because we're going to get you raffle tickets, because we still need to raffle off some movies.
Hi, how are you? I feel like I just saw you like 5 minutes ago. So I have just one question for you guys. It's mostly for you and me and you guys who have been doing con. I'm sure you've done con before as well. Coming from someone who has only done this for maybe about 10 years or so, would you agree with the theory saying that every time you look at an object, you can think of 5 different ways to put that into a haunt, or find a way to make a profit of that?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's because obviously the mundane becoming horrifying is the scariest thing ever. But it's especially only 10 years. I mean, that's great. Come on, 10 years is an awesome time, especially for the physical amount and wise and not letting you do everything you want to do. But that's what, like, to get back to what I really like about Halloween. It's Halloween. Like I come here all the time. I love Halloween Club. I love any time I can go in the middle of the year, and it's Halloween for me at that point. So yeah, Halloween is everything to me. Jackets, clothes, if I can stress that, it'll look awesome like this. Books, candlesticks, everything. Everything. Yeah, so I completely agree with you, and keep doing it.
Awesome. Does anybody else have a super ditching question out there? Shar wants to say something.
I was going to say something as a haunter. October is far away. I know I start warming up in the summertime, walking around the neighborhood, walking around the malls, sneaking up on people and scaring them. They don't know I'm warming up. But they're scaring. And then I very politely go, oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Why? You scared me. I know you guys must do that too, right? Warm-ups?
Oh God, every day, like right after a hot night and like that, the moment we're starting to tear it down and everything like that, I just like it's so teary-eyed. It's such a commitment to, watching yourself and progressing and creating all of this great artwork and all of this great setting scenes and costumes, only for such a short time.
You put your black dead heart right in the middle of your haunt, don't you? We all do.
My gloves touch my soul. That's why they're black.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Does anybody else have?
Liz.
Hi, I guess it's really for Shar.